Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. Welcome back, fellas. Hope you have a fantastic day. I've got my coffee. We have a replay here from Zephyr, XEFYR from Clan Ag4. He's in his Manticore, top tier in a two-tier battle, and he's got a great map for Manticore on Malinovka. Sent me this replay and said, "Hey, would you take a look at it and see what I can do better?" Now, this is a good game. It's an ace tanker. On occasion, I do get. Generally, it's not great games that people send me, or average games, and say, how do I do better? Occasionally, I do get the ace tanker games, and someone says, hey, how can I do better on that? And you might look at that on an objectively good result and say, well, there's not a whole lot to learn. You got an ace tanker. Well, that's not exactly true. There's plenty to learn in bad games, but you can also learn from the good games. There could be quite a few things, and generally it tends to be a little more nuanced, unless something just got super lucky or something like that. But it's not really the case of whether you got lucky, or in this case you're in a Manticore and got a nice map and a nice matchup. The question is what you do with it. So if you got lucky and you'll leverage that into an ace tanker, then great. I'm not saying that's what happened here, but just as a generalization. So we can look at our ace tankers or any good game that we had and look at it with a critical eye and come up with some things we could have done better, or potentially look at it and say, well, there's a couple ways I could have done this a little bit differently. Or if somebody's coming at it with a different angle, they might give you a few more things to think about. And we'll try to do that as we go through here for Zephyr. Pretty good player. Looked at his stats. Doing really well. His setup here is pretty much how I have one of my setups. So it's a CVS in the bonus slot. He's got Optics improved version and then the Bounty LNES. And he's running a camo directive in there as well as food, which is hard to see, but there is food right there. And he's running small kits. Personally, I would run large kits. And I also run all APCR. I don't carry any heat, or sorry, not heat, but HE on my Manticore. And I don't even mess with the AP. I just go for the best pen. Now, the APCR will drop off penetration at range, so there might be somewhat of an argument for AP. But I think a lot of people are going to run full gold on this particular tank. You can do it to taste. Let's see if his HE actually comes into play here. I spawned into the west side of the map, and we're going to look at his initial positioning. So right off the bat on this map, a lot of people have played light tanks on this map and are fairly intimately knowledgeable about it. There's a couple opening plays. One, you could go up the hill. Might be a player if you're a top tier light tank and you're looking at it going, well, I may have to be more of a damage dealer. I don't know, say you're an LT 100 or something and there's only a couple tier 10s. You probably wouldn't do that anyway, but there's a slight argument for that. One thing about going up there is you can scout out the guys that are pushing up and then skedaddle off the hill. That can be useful sometimes, especially for your pushers, to whether or not they want to go up there, depending on where the rest of your team is going to deploy. But I would say that's a very low percentage play. You could go over here to the scouting knob, which is sitting right here. Look for spots on their guys being foolish, or try to counter people who may be crossing across the hole through the swamp right here. Where this little, I don't know, indicator is here, there's another bush in the middle. That's another play you can make, fairly aggressive, and oftentimes will be countered immediately by another light tank doing it, so watch out for that. There's kind of a magic bush right here in the field. It is one of the most obvious scouting bushes known to man, and I'll be honest with you, recently and with the redos of these maps of Malinovka, it's not nearly as good as it used to be, and it does get blind fired a lot, so be very careful using that. I will sometimes poke in there and see if I can't get someone being silly trying to cross right here. The problem is, if you look at my draw ring here, even if you were the 110E5, say right here, I could get up here and spot guys crossing, but you may not even have draw distance, and you have to get close enough that maybe their mirror image bush over here will see you. So it's a little bit tricky to use, to be quite honest. Still not a bad place to go. And then what we're going to watch our hero here do is he's going to take the middle. So we'll take it away here, Zephyr. Show us where you're going to go with your opening move. One thing I will do with the light tank is sort of indicate where I'm going. And you'll notice that we have 2 light tanks total in this game. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to talk about, which is really interesting here. I looked at the roles for the teams, and I thought, man, something looks odd here. I think if you count them, you're going to notice there's only 14 tanks on each side. And interestingly, there is a light tank tier 10 and a light tank tier 9. There is not a tier 10 light tank on the other side. So interesting. I don't know if this was really late at night, or maybe this is the South American Doesn't look like it from the names. I just think this is a late at night NA, and the matchmaker had to put together what it had. There are 2 artillery. We got a T-95 coming up here, and of course we can see that our hero has taken this center bush line right here. There's a couple ways to do this. One of them is to go to one of these other bushes that are further north. That's a little harder to get into, especially if the enemy scout is cruising right along the edge. Some people will try to counter by cruising this edge and then diving back behind the bushes in these buildings just to stop people from trying to get into these bushes, or potentially if they're trying to push straight up along the edge of the water right here. But it looks like the 251 is nowhere to be seen, or he just wasn't able to spot Zephyr as he gets into there. I like the northern bushes for their ability to be very cheeky in lighting guys a little bit further north in these buildings, but the problem with them is it's much harder to get out of those than it is to get out of this line, because if we look at this line, we can just put this line to our back, and it gives us a bunch of cover and camo, and I can skedaddle right back out of here if I need to. If the enemy team tries to push across, I can move up into the northern part of these bushes right about here. Make sure you're fully inside the bushes, they'll go right by you. So unless they kind of come out in the field and proxy light you, there's not much that's going to see a Manticore hanging out right here. And you can actually then just spot them crossing the whole way. And then as they're screwing around over here, you'll have them lit, and it'll be glorious potentially. Now the thing about this bush here is you obviously have to have people to shoot, and if we turn around and look, he's got a bunch. This is good and bad, fellas. On the good side, there's a lot of people who will shoot. On the bad side, you've collected like moths to the flame a bunch of your team who are looking to take sniper shots across at the Muppets that are over on the other side there. That can be good and bad. If it peels too much away from the north side where the heavies are going to brawl up there, that can be a problem, right? But if you get some good quick kills and are able to either follow those up or go somewhere else on the map after this well dries out, then that can be a good thing. So you have to pay attention to the match and how it is progressing in order to know what you should do next from this spot. But as long as shots are coming in and we're getting damage, then we're pretty happy right here. Gets a fire off of that guy. All right, I want you to watch what Zephyr does here. He's going to pull back, and now he makes those bushes dark. That's good if he wants to take a shot. Be careful about uncovering. Now, right now, it looks like he's not uncovered if the RU's in that bush there. If we look here, we don't have too many angles. That's good. One thing to watch out for when I'm doing the 15-meter thing away from bushes is to make sure that one of these other bushes isn't slightly closer so that I don't get the 15 meters. So say if someone's on this angle right up here, and for some reason I'm a little bit closer to this bush and it's not giving me that full camo thing, I shoot and then I'm seen on that line of sight, right? Just something to think about when you're using bushes. That just because the one guy you're shooting at isn't going to see you doesn't mean somebody else won't see you. And you got to keep in mind all of those kinds of game mechanics. So we're going to shoot here. Okay, a couple things right there. Number one, light tanks. That is a great thing for them to do to clear out near deads, right? You don't want him to go dark because even with 100 hit points, that thing's very stealthy and it can drop a lot of damage downrange. So he took the opportunity to close that guy out. On the bad side, now the one guy on the enemy team knows there's a Manticore over there. Okay? I would suspect so based on guys getting hit and shot because there's only one light tank on each team. My suspicion as the purple team would be that that's where the Manticore is. Whether or not all of the guys going to the north have enough SA to pay attention to what's being hit and where and who has kills is another question, but the other team can go, Manticore has a kill, my Sturv died down there. Sturv can go, hey, the Manticore, or there's something spotting me in those bushes. Basically, you've given some SA on where your tank is. That may or may not be a good thing. I generally lean towards take out the near deads and don't worry too much about them kind of figuring out where you are. Obviously, I don't want to get lit and shot, so we move around a little bit here. So now we have some guys moving around back here, and as you can see, we've got 1/3 of our team over on this other side. The Type 61 actually got hit. That surprised me. I'm not sure where he was hit. That kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier, though, for the other team. You know, I'm here talking about this, and this is a replay. I'm not even playing this game. I didn't notice that. So just because you did something and maybe gave the enemy team SA doesn't mean that everybody on that team processes it. However, it's Malinovka, and knowing where the light tanks are is extremely important. Which he's locked his gun for it, I guess, here, huh? The turret's not falling. All right, so now he notices that the 268-4 is pushing forward. This is what I was talking about earlier. He went to this well. He got a guy dead. He got some hit points off the T95. What do I do now? Do I sit here? There's nothing much going on. Or do I have a better place that I can be? This game is still in the balance. We have a slight advantage that we've built, although we don't really know what's going up in the northeast there because we're too far away to get that information sent. But I do know that the 268/4 is moving forward. That could be a good thing, and I might be able to follow that up. So do I follow up the 268-4, or do I flex to another part of the map? So it looks like Zephyr's thinking about it, and he's going to follow up. He lights the T95, and I don't think he gets lit there, not initially. That was pretty good, right? He was pretty close to that T95. Lit that dude up, swings around here, uses full space mode to view, goes into full satellite mode. I'm going to back here into this bush, take a peek. We see an artillery round go out, so that's good SA on where those might be. And now we're going to creep, creep, creep. And can we actually get close enough to light this guy without being lit? We're looking, we're looking. Okay, we got a light. That's nice. We see him. And holy cow, we did it. Look how close we are to this guy. Right in this little bush, you can see that his proxy light ring is just outside where the T95 is, and the poor T95, he has no idea how he's lit. Well, he probably has a decent idea how he's lit. And then the 268-4 comes around and nukes him, and we have done a really nice job of collapsing this south part of the map, and now we're going to move in and start working the back edge. Here's one of the biggest things, I think, Zephyr, in my opinion, we'll see more of it happen. When you're analyzing what to do next, look for where your team might be weakest and have a consideration for where you can help with that potentially. Obviously, pushing strengths is good as well and can be easier to see at times, but sometimes it's harder to see where the weaknesses are and what you can do to shore this thing up. We'll talk about that here as we go, but the KPZ-50T is definitely causing your team a problem up underneath them right there. For the moment, the dudes on the hill are okay, so the KPZ isn't causing too much havoc, but he is up underneath, and just like that, boom, boom, we lose two guys. So we kind of push forward. I'll be honest, this felt a little careless to me, just driving out in the open. This dude doesn't see you. The Manticore has really good camo. I would have worked these bushes a little more carefully than this, and I would also be worried about now about the RU-251, which we haven't talked about very much. We talked about maybe he's over here, but clearly he's not because he hasn't been spotted. But we're constricting this map a lot. He's got to be nearby. So where are the likely places that he would be? Well, the promontory here is one. Maybe over with the KPZ working the middle and attempting to get lights back here. He might have even pushed across and be up in the bushes here because it looks like your guys in the backfield are getting some issues from him potentially. So we don't know where he is, but we're definitely getting close to where he may see us. So I felt like that push into the open was a little bit uncareful. We're going to swing around and we're thinking about this guy. We got him auto-locked. Got ourselves zoomed out to maybe see things. Here we get that guy lit. We jump into this bush. Now there is nothing wrong with just chilling out here for a bit in these bushes like this. Just let things develop a little bit. See what's going on. We find him. We got lit. All right, so we're just a little too close to the RU-251. We pushed outside of that bush and we get lit. And that's what I was talking about where that's a little bit dangerous. So now we've got to make a runner, and hopefully we don't lose hit points for this. Take a stab at him as we run. And off we go. Here's something to think about, fellas, with that. You were lit by the 251, so you have 10 seconds after you're no longer spotted by him, plus or minus some of the spotting skills, yours and theirs, depending on what you've taken. So you got the plus or minus thing going on. Provided nobody else sees you and is closer and still spotting you, it all has to do with the guy, the 251 that spotted you. As you ran away and went outside of spotting distance, if you shoot, you are going to let him see you again, essentially. He makes another spotting roll. Now that just resets your 10 seconds. Or maybe even somebody closer, or maybe something like the CC-1 resets the spotting timing right there. So be careful with that. It's very tempting to go, I'm going to take a stab at him. But it might be worth it in this part of the game to just bail and not shoot and give somebody else an opportunity to see you by shooting because your camo will be lowered. So we swing around, the 251 dies, and now we're in great shape because the only enemy light tank is gone. So we swing around here. We're sort of working on the MK. We got the KPZ. We shoot. And we get lit. All right. This is big mistake number 2 in my opinion. So a little bit uncareful over here with our push. And then we get in between everything. We knew the KPZ was there. There's still some missing guys. There isn't now that the Rinoceronte has showed up. But we sort of come in here and we take that shot. The shot was available. It was a side shot. But honestly, if we look at where the rest of the tanks can be, very dangerous there. And I don't have any way to get into good cover. So I thought that was probably not a shot you really wanted to take right there. So we're going to bail out. We'll go dark here pretty quick. There we go. Swing around. Thank goodness the Mark I is being bothered by the 268-4. So we know the Rinoceronte is pushing in, and I like this initial here of you looking at this guy and going, all right, let's see if we can shore this up a little bit. Put a shot on him. That's fantastic. He takes another hit. And I'm like, this is good. This is good. Thinking about helping the 268-4. All right, fair enough. He is in the middle of a scrum, and you have a good shot. Take him down. Thought that was good. And now where do you go? What's the next move right here? Okay. Take a look at the mini map and look at what's our problems. Well, I can't really get to the north right now. I can't help them. Hopefully they can hold on, but it looks like they're losing. So I'm going to note that. That doesn't look good. I've kind of figured the Tiger Mouse and the T95. I hope they kill a few of them, but it looks like they're not going to win. Where's the rest of our strength? Well, I've got 3 of us down here, but I've also got a Char, K91, and a couple artillery. And there are 2 tanks kind of crushing up the middle of the map there, causing us issues. It would suck a lot if your Tiger Mouse and T95 died, and then those guys had spotters down below that started lighting guys up. So in my opinion, at this point, your next priority is get rid of the Rinoceronte and the KPZ-50. Help your team get rid of these 2 clowns. So Rinoceronte's got a lot of good hit points. And I saw you moving that way, and I went, oh, good. He's going to go over there and help the Char and the K91. And we'll do it while the purples are busy with the remainder, although we just lost our Tiger Mouse, of the guys up to the north. But what you end up doing is sort of bailing out on the Rinoceronte. And to be honest here, I think you might even have a shot. No, he's about to go dark, so unfortunately we won't know. And we're pushing up this way. So you might be looking for the artillery. I think this is kind of big mistake number 3. Yes, getting rid of artillery is nice. In my opinion, no. Now is not the time to worry about him. You've got an Object 268 who's wandering around back here. I haven't really been paying close enough attention to where the shots are coming from, or we're about to find out where this guy is. But even if he is in this corner, I don't really care. This Rinoceronte needs to go away. There's a Type 61, a Conway, a 68-4. There's all kinds of guys back there. So changing everything I'm doing in the game to run over here and start looking for artillery, because, you know, scouts go after artillery. There's a time and place for everything. In my opinion, this is not it. We rammed the GW right there. And now we've got dudes coming off the hill. So we've switched tactics a little bit. Gonna take a blind shot. We do a number of these. You do have to be careful with the Manicore on taking too many blind shots. You've only got 20 shells to work with. So I haven't even noticed if we fired one to the HE, but it looks like we fired mostly AP so far. The enemy team's coming off the hill. That Rinoceronte is still alive, and this is what we're talking about here. You got guys coming off the hill, and the Rinoceronte, in order to get shots on him, they kind of got to get exposed now to the guys on the hill. The Conway's getting thumped. He's in a crossfire. I think we lose him pretty quickly here. And all of a sudden, this is like, holy cow, this is not going great. Now, 268 did find the 261. Where was he? So he was up here a little ways. Yep, he was in that bush right there. All right. So 268 finds him. But we've got 3 pretty good hit point dudes coming off this hill. And this looks good, but it isn't. If we consider what we have and the hit points we have, and what they have and the hit points they have, the artillery is definitely a bonus for us, or a plus. But otherwise, we're kind of behind other than that. So we're going to come over here. We'll try to hit this Rinoceronte. Little late shot. I believe we get lit right here. Nope, that'll be a little while later. All right, so we missed that shot, but he does a nice job dodging backwards. And notice how long this Rinoceronte is a freaking problem. We lose our 268. We lose our Char Futur, primarily because that Rinoceronte was still alive. If we'd have gone in there and helped get rid of that dude, we'd be in much better situations. So now we're in a bit of a scramble. And unfortunately, our Type 61 has decided to sit on cap. That is unhelpful. And then he shoots and gets hit because he gets spotted. The Conway is hanging out right there looking for maybe one more shot before he dies. And I like this. You're making some standoff, which is exactly what you want to do. We've got to go ahead and switch a little bit because our elevation sucks on this. Don't know what happened there. And did we get lit? No, we didn't get lit there. Holy cow, thank goodness the K91 took out the Rhinoceronte, which was coming in behind us. Now we have a one-shot Chieftain. We'll finish him off. Very nice. Good standoff for sure. This is what you want to do with the light tank. Keep them lit, but stand off enough that you can pick at them. And we still have some high hit point guys here. That's crazy. So we're going to put a shot on this guy. Nicely done right there. Got the M454 is fighting our Conway. I have no idea how the Conway is still alive. Absolutely amazing. Good on him. That actually worked really nicely. He's taking hits. Artillery finishes him off. You get some more spotting. We got 1,400 damage. We got 5,137 assists. And we turn what was looking to start to go bad on us, especially based on positioning and hit points. We turn that around with some nice late game kind of active spotting in there, finishing this dude off. Okay, we're going to move through the middle right here. We get lit. That surprised me a little bit that he actually saw you and you didn't see him. He's in those bushes right there. I guess he doesn't take a shot at you. There he goes. We'll take it. We got lucky. Hit our tracks. He's probably raging. Artie goes in. No damage. Take a quick stab at this dude. Nice. There's a chunk of him. So he's got 600. Then the K91 thumps him and he brings him into a one-shot. And now you can close in for the kill. He backed down. So nice job coming back around here. I wasn't super jazzed about just kind of driving through the middle right there. You know that's probably where he's turtled up. There's not a whole lot of great approaches to that spot, to be honest, but you might have been able to go wide and come up around. Notice that you have 6 minutes and 37 seconds left. That's something to always keep an eye on. So you had plenty of time to take a bit of a longer route and maybe not let him get a shot, get a spot on you. And it may have been that you thought you'd spot him well before he outspotted you, but not in that case with the bush. We come down there, nicely done. Shoot him, 2,113, 5,514 assists and 4 kills and an ace tanker in the Manticore. Nice example, I think, of some passive stuff, initial positioning that we talked about. Nice follow-up of the 268-4. A little bit, we leaned a little hard into the I won my flank, let's keep pushing it, but you did have people there and shooters to help you out. I think one of the critical spots is we should have made sure that the Rhinoceronte and KPZ died. You got the KPZ, but the Rhinoceronte became a problem. That guy kind of started bringing it back towards a possibility for them to win. Once we got him dead, nice job working with standoff to the other heavies because now they're blind compared to you. Getting your artillery in there, getting your K91 shots on that, and then once you brought it down to the single guy, going and finding him, using your hit points as required, although it worked out because he only hit your tracks, and then finishing that guy off with some help from your friends and the coup de grace from your shot. Dude, I hope that helped. If anybody has any other any inputs, suggestions, tactics, techniques, whatever, chuck it down there in the comments. Help out Zephyr. Help me out. Maybe I'll learn something as well. Nice job on Malinovka with the Manticore. That is all I've got, fellas. You have a good one, and we will see ya.